Kenflo, I do need to get your thoughts on Renan Ferreira before we move forward.
Problema. Yeah, no, listen, this guy, he can crack. And it's one thing to be 6'9", John. It's another thing to be 6'9" and be able to move like a cornerback in the NFL. This guy, he has crazy athleticism. He does a backflip off of one leg, okay? Just to give you an idea how powerful this dude is. That is someone who is 6'9". That counter shot that he hit against Bader, you don't see a lot of dudes at heavyweight do it like that and do it with that kind of execution and speed. Again, 6'9". It's crazy. And I think that there's other things that he needs to work on, but I will say this. He has come a long way since the first time that I saw him in the PFL. I do think he's a legitimate threat to anybody. If you want to stand up and trade with Renan Ferreira, watch out. I think where he's vulnerable is on the takedown, is on the ground, fighting off of his back and things like that. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but still needs a lot of work in that area and kind of understanding where he is in the cage and what he needs to do to get back to his feet and things. But he is very explosive. And if he lands a big shot, he could take you out. Now, whether he ends up fighting Francis Ngannou or not, I have no idea. I think there was a huge miss at the end of that event when you have Francis Ngannou walking away from the cage while while Renan Ferreira is getting a belt around his waist, and Francis Ngannou just kind of walking away. I don't think that's a great sign, if I'm being honest. So I don't know what's going to happen there. It's like, hey, the whole point was to find out who's going to fight Francis Ngannou. And you have Francis Ngannou be like, okay, the event's over. Take it easy, guys. We never got the photo op. We never got any buildup of that fight after that. So I don't know, man. It was kind of a mess in a lot of different ways, if I'm being honest.
I was just going to say, I'm not going to hold my breath that fight actually happens. And if you want to suggest that Francis Ngannou was just being a good egg and allowing Ferreira to have his moment, then I respect that. And maybe that's why he left, but not a great visual at all when you have a cameraman you have a cameraman following Francis Ngannou as he is leaving instead of doing a stare down with, Renan Ferreira. But it will be interesting if the fight happens, because Ngannou's been doing a lot of boxing training, and that would be a mixed martial arts contest. I would submit to you that maybe Renan Ferreira is a live underdog if that fight actually happens. All right, now time to bring on Brian Petrie on social media. You can find him at Brian Petrie MMA as we transition to our UFC Fight Night this weekend.